two of the best in the Ohio Valley Conference.
Glad you could join us for this afternoon's action, as there are 4 OVC matches today, and perhaps none quite as important as this. It's almost a playoff game in itself. Eastern Illinois in those traveling blue uniforms, USI in the white with blue trim, and those are actually some throwback uniforms for USI. Why are they going with them? Well, we were told by the coach that USI is not lost in those jerseys this year. And so let's take a look at the keys to today's match.
It's really similar for both sides, because again, they match up so well, but for Eastern Illinois, they just got to make sure that they do their job, either come out ahead or at least come out even, and that's going to be a true key for their defensive side of the field. And for Southern Union, they have to score. They have to win this match, so they have to find a way to finish in the final third. They've come close a lot here in the last few matches, but none of them have actually gone in.
The keys to the match are presented by the Tennessee Highway Safety Office. Designated drivers are the real MVP. If you've been drinking, pass your keys to a sober friend. The Tennessee Highway Safety Office reminds you that fans don't let fans drive drunk. USI putting some pressure, trying to gain possession in its attacking third. And Eastern Illinois, quite patient, as we've talked about. They'd be very happy with a tie. And that wind you hear today, that goes along with 78 degrees, beautiful, clear, sunny skies, but the wind's at about 13 with gusts at 33, and we're getting some of those gusts right now. Those gusts will be blowing to your left as you were watching the game, which is the north end of the field. Now, Eastern Illinois pulling the ball into the attacking third, and USI able to clear. So some interesting numbers in this one. For Eastern Illinois, there are 8 ties. That is a tie of a school record for ties in a season. And so far, that's put them in a position to get the number 8 seed in the OVC tournament. There's 9 teams in the OVC. The top 8 go to the tourney.
And all 4 of their ties in conference play have come literally in the last 4 matches for this Eastern Illinois team. So after a slow start, they were at least able to get results, and that's what has at least given them the 2-point cushion ahead of Southern Indiana in the standings.
Morgan Byer with it across, hoping for somebody to run on, but there's the strong keeper for the Panthers in Danelia Bermeo. She's out of Barcelona, Spain, and she is number 50 in the nation when it comes to goals against average. Has 6 shutouts to her record. USI keeping the pressure on right with the takeaway. Long shot will miss to the right, but USI puts some pressure on the Panthers early.
USI really playing high with the press here in the early going. I mean, their 2 outside wings are almost played as a second and third forward, right and left of Byer, and then that time Wright getting involved in the attack. And really with that win, I'm surprised they didn't blow it toward goal.
And so that wind, it'll be interesting to see how it plays a part. So right now, that wind is benefiting USI. When we get a goal kick, see if the team on the north end of the field elects to play it in the air or play it short and keep it on the ground.
Yeah, playing the ball to the feet will be the most accurate way to connect to your teammates here today. It's going to require a lot of precision, I would say, and a good sense of reading the wind, maybe throwing up some grass or licking the finger to get a sense of how strong it's blowing in the air.
And as I say that, you can hear, or maybe lack of hear, the strong wind. It was going strong for a while. Now it's let up just a little bit, and we're about to see Eastern Illinois for the first time with the goal kick and see how they play it. And USI is keeping the defense down, pressuring the goalkeeper, and they'll play it on the ground. USI with the one long shot, and we're very early, less than 5 minutes into the contest. Eastern Illinois this year, they've scored 10 goals. They've given up 11, pretty similar to USI, which also has scored 10 goals, has surrendered 12 on the season. A lot of similarities as Eastern Illinois trying to get the fast break moving. Running onto it was Daniel, but USI will control in the mid. And it'll go on the far side to Maggie Dugan out of Defiance, Missouri. Now the right side, Morgan Byer again. Byer working against Goodman. Cross on the way, and it'll be too far out in front. But right now, USI putting the pressure on. Well, let's take a look at the series history. The series history presented by Delta Dental. Unleash your smile power with Delta Dental. Well, it's an easy history. This is the first time that they've ever matched up. And a lot of weight on this for a first-time series. So instead of the keeper putting the foot to the ball, it's Sarah Hagg who played it in the air to midfield. And the ball goes out just before USI's Taylor Hall can get to it. Well, this Eastern Illinois team had a good outcome earlier this week when they picked up a tie, which then put pressure on USI, meaning Southern Indiana has to win today. A tie favors the Panthers. Big collision out at the top of the Eagles' defensive third.
Yeah, last time out, Eastern Illinois a 0-0 tie with Lindenwood. They had some pressure from the Lions late in the match, but they were able to hold on to keep that a scoreless match. Whereas it was a little bit more of a heartbreaking defeat for Southern Indiana last time out against Southeast Missouri, where they literally gave up the lone goal, the go-ahead game-winning goal with less than 15 seconds left in the match.
Jill DeTusa trying to get to it on the far side before it slides out. What a heartbreaking loss. And USI had pressure put on them the entire match, and Edwardsville was able to make it pay literally in some of the last seconds.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of, really disheartening when you play strong defense, obviously facing relentless pressure from the Redhawks. Maya Etienne in goal, 12 saves, season high, second best in her career. And basically you're thinking, okay, we're this close to at least getting a point out of this. It may making the job on Sunday a little bit easier. But the Redhawks just came in at the last second. But to no surprise, it was Kayla Kerner with the game-winning goal. She was previously the Offensive Player of the Week 2 weeks ago now, the OVC. She's been a big, strong player for the Redhawks and SEMO this year.
Belserek with it for Eastern Illinois, setting it in the center. Looked like Eastern was going to have some numbers for a moment, but the Eagle defense got back quickly. Yeah, if USI could have gone another few seconds against Edwardsville, then it would have been interesting what all the tiebreakers could have been if these two teams tied today. Nice aggression by Alyssa Wright for USI. The tap onto the left side for Taylor Hall, and it's tapped out. It belongs to, I believe, USI. Yes, it does.
And that was kind of a good example of how Eastern plays. They want to play a little bit more of a slower-paced game where if they can just kind of make it nonchalant, if you will, throughout, they'll be fine. They're not really wanting to go up-tempo, and Wright stepped up and beat and won the ball.
And the foul will go against USI. As Southern Indiana, again, putting a little bit of pressure on. And again, can't say it enough, a tie favors Eastern Illinois. And that potential, if USI could have come away with a tie earlier in the week, what all the tiebreakers would be, you'd have to dig pretty deep, but it ends up not being the case. And then looking at around the OVC, and we'll dig into it a little bit later, there are some other huge matches. In those, everybody knows they're in the tournament. Once again, Morgan Byer goes down, but the ball taken away by Peyton Murphy. Left side Hall chasing to the corner, and it'll go. Goal kick once again. USI showing a little speed out on top.
And I think that's, again, just a good game plan to have, not only having the speed, the pressure, and also just being first to the ball. Because, again, Eastern Illinois is not wanting to play fast. They're kind of, especially at this early point of the game, trying to just settle in.
We're 10 minutes in, and we're in Evansville, Indiana. Not a cloud in the sky, but a lot of wind, and you'll see some of the leaves blowing across the field when the wind picks up, which it's gusted quite a bit at times. Keeping it alive, Byer, and we'll get a foul from behind, and USI will get to set up the free kick, not too far out on top of the 18.
Looks like Byer will be the one just to stay put and take this kick. It's at an awkward angle from that top corner of the box. I don't think it would be necessarily a chance right at the goal, but it might be one of those little kind of lob kicks that just gets chipped in to find one of her teammates on the backside.
USI setting up at the 18 on the far post as they jockey for position. And waiting for the ball to be put into play. Hit along the ground. On top, that's Grafton for USI. And she was looking for Madison Cady, but it'll roll past the goal line.
And you have to like the sense of not only urgency, but the energy, I guess, from USI concerning. I'm sure it could be pretty easy to hang your head after that close loss at the end on Thursday and just kind of sulk on it and keep thinking about it. But it looks like they've had a short memory and they've moved on, and they're coming out with some good energy here in the early going.
Yeah, the first 12 minutes, for the most part, have belonged to Southern Indiana as they gain it again at midfield. Byer, though, loses and taken away by the Panthers. I think as USI, its first year ever as a Division I team, I think we'll probably begin to see Eastern Illinois and Southern Indiana as probably the biggest rival, I would guess, as the two programs move along.
Yeah, geographically it makes the most sense in terms of, just being a couple hours apart from each other. I would still say, the other rival might be Lindenwood just because there's already those previous ties who are also now in their first year in the OVC. We'll see how that kind of buds and maybe grows in the Division I era. But
it's one of the great things about the OVC. A lot of teams not very far away, because you could also make an argument with the history back about a decade ago of Edwardsville in there as well. So it'll be fun to watch as each sport progresses on the Division I level, and a huge learning curve for Southern Indiana in different sports. And again, Eastern Illinois patient with it, back on their defensive third, and USI continuing to put the pressure on the ball. But the clock is the friend of Eastern Illinois, although obviously a whole lot of time to go.
And the thing to remember is with this year, for USI's sake here today, they got to score within the 90 minutes. They will not get the extra time or penalty kicks to get it done. They have to do it with now about 75 minutes remaining, a little less than that here in this match.
Jill DeTusa on the right side will play it in, but the defense is there, and USI will get the throw in just a few yards up from the flag. So Southern Indiana looking at the pressure continuing to be put on, hoping that they can eventually get something to work across the middle. This one in front of the net and kicked out, and USI will get the corner. Back defensively, Sarah Hag, a 5'7" sophomore defender. She's out of Germany, a second-team All-OVC player from last year, and she looks strong defensively. So Peyton Murphy, the leading goal scorer for USI, will take the corner. And it headed beautifully by Jill DeTusa, and we're going to get another corner. She thought she had the angle on it. She was in the right place, but skirts wide right. And so Murphy again, Peyton Murphy, a couple assists on the year. Love to see number 3 right here. Ball played on top. USI will track it on the far side and reset the offense. Charlie Grafton with it. Long one on the way, and there defensively is Daniela Bermeo. Bermeo, she is the goalie for this Eastern Illinois team. She has played every minute of every match, and she has played it very, very well.
Really made a strong mark in the OVC. Kind of made the rest of the league aware early in the non-conference season with some of her early success. And even though, Bay, the record overall 0-3 and 4 conference play not great, but again, those 4 ties are a big credit to her.
And both of these teams, just tremendous defensive programs. Both the coaches have to be happy with the defense. Obviously, they'd love to see the offense pick it up a little bit. Eastern Illinois, coached by Jake Plant. He's in his 5th year. Before that, he was an assistant at Eastern Illinois University, the same team, and then moved up when given the opportunity. He's 18, 31, and 18 in his years. He also played at Eastern Illinois, so he has a whole lot of connection to this program. He's actually from overseas. He was a native of Birmingham, England.
Yeah, he's had a hand in both the men's and women's programs. That was a big collision right there, Murphy committing the foul.
But everybody able to get up, and it will be Hag again to put the ball in play. The second team all OVC and defender, and also on the newcomer team last year.
And with the way the season has gone for both sides, both teams, despite their records, probably have put together 2 of the best defensive team efforts in program history. That'll go down, from the defensive standpoint. But obviously, when it comes down to it, you got to score goals, and these teams have struggled to do that on the offensive end.
That was Michaela Danyo attacking for Eastern Illinois.
Sometimes the cliche saying of defense wins championships doesn't really translate all the time to soccer.
You got to have some offense somewhere in there. We were trying to look through the record books of USI, and the best we could find that a team has ever done was giving up 12 goals in a season. And USI, tremendous defense, but needs to get some goals, as does Eastern Illinois. And this one will rocket off of Da Silva. She was one of the players in the preseason to watch in the OVC. Now we're starting to see the Panthers be a little more aggressive offensively, as USI trying to clear it out and get back on the attack. 27 minutes remain in the first half. No score. Southern Indiana and Eastern Illinois. We've seen 3 shots in the contest so far. All 3 for USI. One of them was a shot on goal. And Eastern Illinois plays it into the middle, but the Eagle defense is back. And so Eastern is just going to go and reset. We're talking about Jake Plant, the 5th-year coach for Eastern Illinois. For USI, it's Eric Shainstein. Shainstein in his 8th year, 69 wins, 43 losses, and 18 ties. Very successful in the D2 level here at USI. Some of the best years USI has had. He also, just like Plant, played at the school where he's coaching. Shainstein played at USI from 1988 to 1991, where he was a 3-time all-conference player. Taylor Hall with it. She'll play long, but nobody's there to run on for USI. And easily coming out, Bermeo. Shainstein, while playing for USI, among one of the best ever statistically, 34 goals. That's 3rd in school history best, with 22 assists. That was 5th. Had 90 points as a Screaming Eagle, which also put him number 3 in the record books. Well, the key we talked about for Eastern Illinois, keep playing to the defensive strength, and I think we're seeing that right now. Ball played to the middle, hoping Taylor Hall could get to it, but Hall couldn't. The defense was there first. And on the far side, Jill DeTusa. Ball played into the top of the 18. As it's loose, trying to get it is Taylor Hall, and back to Hall it goes. She'll put the left foot in it, but miss wide right by a few yards. We're going to get some fresh legs in for USI. Great job on top by Taylor Hall. She really battled to keep any opportunity at a shot. So we'll once again see Sarah Hagg put the foot into the ball. As the wind lets up a little bit, Eastern Illinois will play it long.
I mean, really this high pressure is containing, for the most part, EIU in their defensive half of the field. They've been able to get the ball up, but they've not really even gotten close to the attacking third, the final third of the field quite yet.
Daniel was the one Eastern Illinois was trying to feed there. 5'7" senior out of Edmonds, Washington. And speaking of seniors, today is senior day for USI. 9 players were recognized in pregame activities. In a big battle as Amanda De Silva uses some strength to keep possession, but then loses it out of bounds. So we're starting to see the Panthers at times put a little bit more pressure on the USI defense. And who's going to take it at midfield? It'll be Byer for USI. Coming across the middle, chasing it down is Peyton Seymour, but coming out of the net is Bermeo. This Panthers team, it's been an interesting couple of streaks. So the last 4 matches, Eastern Illinois is unbeaten. Most of those were ties in there. But before that, they had lost 4 straight. So a really nice job of bouncing back to get some momentum on their side.
Yeah, I mean, the definition of an up-and-down season where or in the early going, obviously, non-conference, you usually get the mixed results based on just the competition that you're playing. But having those 4 straight losses and then backing up with 4 straight ties, they seem to have kind of solved some of the issues, but again, they're still trying to figure things out on the offensive end, which is, for them, they're led by Jenna Little with 4 goals this year. Not in the starting lineup. We'll see if maybe she'll be able to have an impact here today.
Grafton keeping it away from the defender. Beautiful move along the inline, and it's going to head to a corner. USI gets another.
Calling it goal kick.
Oh. Well, must have had a second ricochet we couldn't see from this angle. And Eastern will play it quickly. And the sliding tackle from behind. Alyssa Wright sends it out, but it will stay Panther possession. USI right now trying to put an end to 2-game losing streak, although really have to get the 3 for it to be a streak. USI lost to Tennessee Martin and SEMO by scores of 1-0. Before that, they tied Lindenwood 1-1. USI, 6 games this year that they've been able to find the back of the net. That just kind of tells you where the scoring struggles have been. And it didn't look that way early in the year. The freshman Peyton Murphy came out gangbusters for USI.
It just seems like, again, she kind of put the league on notice through non-conference performance, and the scouting and the defense tightened up in conference play.
Murphy is number 17 for USI. Leads the Eagles with 5 goals, 25 shots, and 16 of those shots on goal. The Eagles put some pressure on. So that was 28. Morgan Byer running in, forcing the Eastern keeper to get rid of the ball a little quicker than she wanted. So the Eagles will bring in Avery Schoen, a 5'5" junior midfielder out of Galena, Ohio. She's also gotten in some offensive action. Peyton Murphy off the tap hoping the USI offense could run on. There was Byer, but the defense collapses. Now USI resets. Alyssa Wright loses possession on some great defensive play by Michaela Daniel. And here come the Panthers. For the first time, really kind of seeing the Panthers try to get a transition going from midfield, but it collapses, and it'll be throw in far side Eastern Illinois. Well, this Eastern Illinois, what's interesting is they're number 3 in the conference in shots per game at better than an 11.5. So they're not scared to take the shots. They're just having trouble with the accuracy and getting it around the goalkeeper. And again, the ball rolls easily to the native of Spain, Daniela Barmeo.
Yeah, both of these teams really haven't had much issue in terms of getting shots off, or even really for both. The shots on goal percentage is also really good. They just cannot put one in the back of the net. They've come across some tough goalkeepers across the league, but also just some bad luck. I mean, especially for USI and Morgan Byer, our player to watch. She's been close the last few matches, hit the woodwork multiple times. I mean, sometimes it is just a matter of inches to get one underneath the crossbar and get one in.
Cora Horn, 24 for Eastern, was doing a great job of keeping it alive for Eastern. Now comes Germano. Germano with the defender on her, and Eastern will reset on top to Amanda Da Silva. Now to Germano. The long cross, and boy, the wind played with that one as a big gust hits. USI's goalkeeper, Maya Etienne, was really looking as, oh, here it comes, and then the wind just Germano. The long cross, and boy, the wind played with that.
Knock it down for me and then go out and get it.
And now quickly, USI on transition. Murphy trying to get to it. But then USI will regain Avery Schoen. She'll drop it off right side. The cross is too wide. Goes well behind the net, and a USI opportunity goes awry. And fresh legs, 3 new ones come in for the Panthers. The Eagles will make 1 trade.
One of the substitutions for Southern Indiana, Madison Crawford, senior, coming in. She'll move to the left center defensive back spot. Wright coming out. That'll move Lippert out to the left back position. So a little bit of a new look for the defense that they've kind of been tinkering with lately.
With that kind of change, any kind of advantage USI is looking for from there, or just mixing it up?
Usually it's more about trying to maybe get a little bit more speed from the outside back position to get a little bit more into it. But
yeah, USI.
And I was going to say, just also because it seems like a lot of teams have really kind of attacked the left part of the USI defense, even though it's been a strong defensive unit as a whole this year. Heads up top to our camera people, as that ball got deflected all the way up there. But if they had to pick one area of the USI defense they've been kind of consistently attacking, it's been through that left side.
Ready to throw in was Kaya Trejo. She was inching up a little too far, and the official in the middle says back up before we can get this one underway again. Our officials for today, the one out in the field is Jose Randa. And he's joined along the lines by Robert Musolo and Seth Erickson. Again, gorgeous day, as you can tell. Really harsh shadows. Need a little sunscreen on today because we have not seen a cloud at all. At kickoff, it was 78. Gorgeous late October weather outside of the wind. And Eastern Illinois will throw it in again. They're getting very used to throwing it in at the exact same place. And a couple of changes for Eastern coming in. Number 18, Morgan Rinker. She's out of Iowa. And number 19, Avery Richardson, a Grand Haven, Michigan product. Grand Haven, gorgeous area in Michigan. USI, one of their key players out of Michigan, their keeper, ATN. Peyton Murphy with it for USI, play it back, and now the Eagle defense will reset with Maggie Dugan playing off onto the right side. We're under 15 minutes to go in this first half, and the offense has been provided by USI as far as shots. 4 shots, 1 on goal, no goal though. Meanwhile, Eastern yet to get a shot off. They've been in an area where they put USI back on its heels a couple of times, but just could never really generate a real push. But here comes Corhorn. She'll give it back to Daniel, back to Corhorn. Beautiful move out on top, and out comes the Eagles keeper, Maya ATN. ATN, talking about one of the Michigan players out of Midland, Michigan. Her folks and family came down to celebrate her on this senior day. It was a special moment before each of the players getting presented with, among other things, a USI jersey in a frame. And that wind kicks again. Peyton Murphy on top, and she's going to get called for another foul. Murphy with a touch too long, and trips up Avery Richardson. Richardson went down. She was tripped from behind. Back to Corhorn. Corhorn pushing the Eagle defense back. Dropped off right side, hoping for Hensley, but the Eagle defense is there. And it's going to be possession for Eastern Illinois, and they'll get the throw in deep in USI territory. And some hesitancy by everybody as that throw came in. And now USI will throw it in off the sliding tackle from behind by Germano. She herself out of St. Louis, Missouri. Germano, a 5'5" freshman midfielder. And as all of these players were, outstanding high school player where she was honorable mention All-State in Missouri. Is a great state for high school soccer. A lot of Division I athletes come out. Shy Isles in for USI, number 3 in the white jersey. And off the heel tap, hoping to get it to Corhorn. No, but Eastern gets back possession once again. Out on top, Little. She'll launch it. Left foot is too high.
Panthers really seem to be starting to find their footing in this game as they just have very methodically started to press for gaining just more field position. And that one's not easy to read, even though it looks like it's going to be obviously high. But with the wind gusts here today, that could have easily just knocked down right there near the goal line.
And Little, and a foul on a hard takedown by Sarah Hagg. As Shy Isles went down. Isles, a player who didn't get a whole lot of playing time in the first portion of this season, but now starting to get into the lineup for a few minutes each of the last matches. As Coach Shane Stein continues to look for an offensive attack to result in a point that USI's been struggling to get here lately.
It's a good time of the season, though, to really expand and increase that depth.
And the shot on the way off the foot of Avery Schoen. And it'll go past the in line, and USI's going to get the corner. Boy, that was a quick transition that kind of came out of nowhere.
Yeah, it was a quick trigger, too, to pull the shot. Once she got the space, Schoen just lets it rip on the ground, and through traffic, Bermeo with a good read and making a nice dive just to kind of push it away and get it at least out of the face of goal.
So USI with another corner. Eagles set up far post before the whistle. And in front, USI will chase it down and set it back on the left side for Crawford. And Crawford's cross will go well wide, and we'll get the goal kick.
Trying to send it back in with the left foot, but just couldn't quite get around the ball to hook it back toward the middle of the box.
And then for the Panthers, number 20, Ella Onstadt. Out goes Cam Corhorn. And Corhorn, I've been impressed by her defensive play thus far, but she'll take a break as we're under 10 minutes to go in the first half. And this first half, kind of motoring along for a moment at the start. Not a lot of action, but since then, we've seen both teams begin to put some pressure on each other. Talked about the corners. USI, you look at them, the 5 shots, 2 on goal, and 5 corners. Meanwhile, for Eastern Illinois, 1 shot and have not had a corner yet. So USI, overall, putting on the pressure to make Eastern Illinois play back a little bit, but here comes an opportunity for Eastern Illinois, trying to get it to the runner, Ava Hensley, number 12. You can see her there out of St. Charles, Illinois. Outstanding player. She played in 2019 on one of the U.S. National League teams.
Talk about Cornhorn. She's really come on strong in the last few matches late here in the season. Just 1 goal, 1 assist on the year, but she is second on the team in shots, 24 overall, 10 on goal. And she led the team in the last time out against Linwood, 4 of 6 going on goal. So again, it seems like she's kind of starting to find momentum here late in the season, which is exactly what the Panthers need if they are fortunate enough to hold their position in the standings and move on to the OVC tournament.
USI trying to get something. Isles was on the left. If DeTusa was able to keep possession, might have had something going, but the defense for Eastern Illinois steps up. And USI and Eastern Illinois played long out in front, coming across and losing it off the heels is Morgan Byer. And it's going to be a goal kick. Boy, that one was close. That was 1 tap too far for Byer to be able to handle. But again, USI back in that attacking third.
And really the start of that opportunity was Mia Daly stepping up, getting to the ball first in the defensive line near midfield, winning the ball, and quickly sending it back the other way toward Byer. Being the first to the ball and winning, I guess, the eagerness battle, I guess, to get to the ball. Because EIU, that's been a couple times, or a few times now, rather, where they've kind of been sitting waiting for the ball to come to them, and it's led to USI winning possession and quickly going back the other way.
Well, one of the keys to this contest for USI was be aggressive on offense. That's a check mark thus far.
But like most of the season so far for this team, they've been doing that all year. Coach Shainstein has said that this is one of the most competitive groups and hardest working groups, but unfortunately they just don't have many offensive results to show for it as much as they had hoped and expected at this point in the season.
Well, USI has 6:40 to score in this first half if they're able to get it done. Emma Thurston to throw it in for the 4-7-4 Screaming Eagles. Into the box, Isles heading it. It'll come out on top. And the shot on the way, there's the goal! Madison Crawford on the give and kick. You just got the feeling that USI would make it count somewhere because of all the pressure they've been putting on.
The senior Madison Crawford, one of the seniors recognized before the game, coming up as a substitution, stepping up into the play, and finishing with perfect placement in that low corner of the goal. Bermeo had to read through the foot traffic, got a late read on it, and by that point it was too late. Honestly, if she did get a good read on it, I don't know how close she would have got to it because that was literally perfectly into the corner and into the side netting.
So Crawford, her first goal of the year. And that right corner, couldn't have asked for anything better. And that's one Coach Eric Shainstein will bring a smile to his face. But quickly, Eastern Illinois puts pressure on USI.
And it resulted with Crawford stepping up, getting to the ball first, and winning the possession. Of course, she knew what to do with it once she got there.
So the goal for Crawford, and so USI scores for the first time in 3 games. Last time out, they had a goal, was October 9th. So still waiting official word on Eastern Illinois, or make it for Southern Indiana on the assist, but we do know for sure that was Madison Crawford. Boy, what a way to go as a senior to get your final home game a goal. So it looks like it may be Elizabeth Lippert who's getting credit for the assist, and now USI once again puts the ball into the attacking third. And so for Lippert, with that being her first assist, her first point of the year, and it's headed out. Who will get it? It'll be Eastern Illinois. So Lippert to Crawford. And the home crowd, a lot of parents here for this senior day. A lot of players to be recognized, 9 seniors, or at least 9 that are going to be playing in their last match, because USI also has a grad student on the team. Here comes USI again on the pressure, off the right side, floated in the middle. Isles was there trying to head it in. Now the left side comes back in front of the net. And who's going to take it? It'll be Isles again on the left side. She'll let it fly, but the defense is there. And Isles gets pushed hard from behind, and there's the foul. And Isles, the freshman, she went down hard. She's going to take a moment to get up and walk it off. Wow, the freshman, feisty there for that series.
Earning the playing time, and that's what has allowed her to have an important role off the bench here in the last few matches.
She's out of DeMossville, Kentucky, is Shy Isles. Shy is short for Cheyenne. USI will set it up on the left side. Madison Crawford, she had the goal. She'd love nothing more than an assist right here. Ball played on the ground in front and cleared. USI will regather out on top. Maggie Dugan, long way off to the left of the goal, and it'll roll and bounce past the line. That's one of those you're usually not going to do in a calm day, but again, that wind just playing a part in it. So 1-0 Southern Indiana, under 3 minutes to go. The Eagles' goal, Madison Crawford, with 6:21 remaining in the first half. USI been putting pressure on Eastern Illinois throughout this first half, and finally able to make it pay. USI, the numbers favoring them, 6 shots, 3 on goal, and a goal. Meanwhile, for Eastern Illinois, only 1 shot. Now it'll be interesting to see if in the second half the Panthers take a different approach offensively, knowing they have to go in and score. So it'll be USI kick off the foul. And it'll be Byer for USI. She'll put the right foot into it with the wind at her back, play it out on top with Schoen, and that one knocked away. The USI home faithful wanting a call in the box, and USI will get the throw in as we head for the final 90 seconds of this first half. Both teams looking for their first win in the OVC. Both teams have been incredibly competitive in almost all of their matches this year. between the two of them. They've had to settle in conference play with 6 ties. 4 of those belong to Eastern Illinois, a school record for them of 8 on the year. And the Eagle throw-in as we hit a minute remaining. Ball in front. Isles will chase it down. Ball back as the wind that time really plays a part in the ball lofted high, and it'll be a goal kick. So this USI team, as we talked about, saying goodbye to 9 of its players, 3 of them in their 5th year of action, and then 6 seniors. Then you'll have 4 juniors for USI, 7 sophomores, and 11 freshmen. So an interesting breakdown for USI. Isles on the left side gets it back after chasing down in the box. She'll keep it alive, and Isles gets called for the foul. And that should probably do it for this first half as Southern Indiana gets a goal, and they get it with 6:21 remaining in the first half on the feed from Lippert to Crawford, and we have reached halftime.
So, I mean, it was just an unlucky goal allowed for her. But for USI, defensively, that's been their strong suit, their strength this season. However, they've had a couple matches where they've played strong defense for the majority of the match. It's come down to maybe those last handful of minutes on 2 occasions, specifically against Little Rock and last time out against Southeast Missouri, where they gave up that late goal. They can't have that happen here today.
It'll be interesting to see as you talk about that who will have the fresh legs. The heat's not going to be a problem. USI has gone a little deeper into the bench with 8 players coming off the bench in the first half, but Eastern Illinois, they're not shy about bringing them in as well, as they brought 6 off the bench. For Eastern Illinois, they had 4 different players play all 45 minutes, while USI had 3. So as we look at what will happen in the conference tournament, the tournament begins on Friday, and whoever comes out of this match will take on the number 5 seed, and that'll be on Friday, October 28th. And, of course, the time and all to be determined. And so Eastern Illinois putting early pressure here on Southern Indiana. On the right side, Daniel. And it'll tap away, and there's a corner for Eastern Illinois. So the first time they're able to get over there and put one from the corner. USI had 3 in the first half. And ready to put it in play. Out on top, ball loose, and USI will clear. That was De Silva, who was the corner kicker. And a long run out to midfield for SB Logan. Logan, number 8, the one who chased it down. She was an invitee to the Mexico U20 national team. Tells you about some of the talent that there is on this team. And for USI, clearing is Jill DeTusa. Gets it to Byer. Byer working a 2-on-1, looking for a cutter, and now looking into the middle, but ricocheted, and the Panthers reset. A lot of pressure put on defensively by the Eagles and Peyton Murphy. And it's going to roll out, and it'll be the visitors' opportunity to throw it in. Just early in the second half, the lone goal in the first half came with 6:21 remaining in the first half. A feed from Elizabeth Lippert to Madison Crawford out in front, about 17 yards away. And playing it back is Maggie Dugan, who will get it to ATN, and ATN gets to kick it into the breeze for the first time, and it sails out. USI and the white unis, those are throwbacks that they brought out earlier in the season and came away with a victory in that. So the coach says, like many coaches do. Let's stay with what's brought us good luck. And now back to Byer, wanting somebody to run on for USI. Now on the right side, Jill DeTusa. DeTusa with the defender Logan on her. DeTusa, nice move, will launch, left foot, headed in, it's goal, USI! And I think it'll go as a self-goal, as it may have been off the head of Morgan Goodman. So let's see it come together. So the ball out top, DeTusa. DeTusa launches and give it to USI. The Eagles are up 2-0. So no assist on that one as DeTusa did the work. And USI has put 2 in the net for the first time since September 9th against Chicago State. Now USI, one of its best offensive performances of the year. And what great ball work by Jill DeTusa for the goal. So USI not content with the 2. They'll continue to put pressure on the Panthers. But DeTusa make it Byer, loses it. And now the Panthers will try to answer the call. 2-goal deficit for the visitors. They've got to get those 2 back to at least tie it to keep this season alive. And it'll go last off of USI. By the way, for Jill DeTusa out of St. Charles, Missouri, her 2nd goal of the year. That was a thing of beauty. And the ball deflected in front, and there's nothing that the keeper, Bermeo, could do. And the Eagles told, now looking back at the replay, that the ball was not touched by Eastern Illinois, so that was straight clean goal by Jill DeTusa. Either way, the Eagles are up 2-0 and hoping to extend their season at least one more match.
It's just a big insurance goal.
Oh, what a play by Maggie Dugan. That brings a round of cheers.
Yeah, it's just good winning effort right there. And now you can see the aggressiveness, the confidence go up another level for Southern Indiana, because they know that they have the cushion. They can now play a little bit more toward the aggressive side.
So USI getting that goal less than 5 minutes in, make it less than 4 minutes into this second half. So those 2 goals for USI at the end of the first half here in the second half of playing time, they both come within about 10 minutes of each other. The foul out at the mid, USI will promptly boot it out. And now the Panthers with it. USI 4-7-4 on the season. The Panthers 2-5-8. USI 0-3-4 in league play. They picked up a pivotal tie earlier this week, which forces USI to win this one for USI to advance to the postseason. USI in its first OVC season, 0-5-2. 2 coaches that are very pleased on the year with their team's defensive efforts, but both a little frustrated, wanting to see some more goals, and it's the USI coach, Eric Shainstein, who's happy with what he's seen today. Jenna Little comes in for Eastern Illinois, along with Nicolota Nucci. Nucci out of Dayton, Ohio. And she's a senior, so her season could come to an end today. She is one of those players that's played in every match her college career. Obviously a key player to the Panthers' performance. And it'll belong to Eastern Illinois. And I think it's going to be, yes, it'll be a foul as there was a push-off from behind on a USI player. So 37 minutes remaining in this contest. Eastern Illinois now going on the goal to the north, which means they have that southerly wind helping them. We've seen gusts over 30 miles an hour here. The beautiful fall foliage. Seeing a lot of that get blown away on the far side of the field. And that one touched last by the Panthers. Chasing it down was Anucci, who just recently returned to the contest, a 5'4" senior. Well, the key for USI coming in, be aggressive on offense, play like there's no tomorrow, and so far they are doing that.
And what's been impressive about it is on senior day, it's the seniors who have stepped up with both of the goals scored here today, DeTusa and Crawford. So it's good to see that leadership with obviously the sense of urgency coming into today's match really pan out for the upperclassmen.
And add to that the assist coming from a graduate player in the form of Lippert. So what a way to, at least to this point, end your career at home. And we'll get a foul. It's going to be a talking to, I think, as it's Jill DeTusa was on the ground, and she was backing some into SB Logan, and the ball's going to belong to Eastern Illinois. An unfortunate USI goal, but Byer, she was on the ground pushing up against the player, and that's what drew the whistle. And so after the referee talks it over, that's Jose Renda. Eastern into the box, headed, coming out, ATN, she'll haul it in before anybody in blue can get there. And then there you can see the wind play the ball, as that just absolutely died when it got up in the air quickly. Eastern will throw it in. A big collision as USI will possess now near midfield. Played on the far side. With it, Taylor Hall. Hall has the defender, Da Silva. Hall gets the angle, and it's played towards the goal, and coming out is the keeper, Bermeo. And Bermeo not used to giving up multiple goals in a match.
And again, even just like the first one where she really couldn't see the ball until it was right there in front of her, a little bit late to have any reaction time on the first goal by Crawford. That one going basically off her own teammate in, not much she can do with that one either. So for a tough goalkeeper in Bermeo, she's had kind of an unlucky day so far between the posts.
And what has USI's offense been able to do today against this very stingy defensive team? Those 2 goals, the ties the most goals given up by Eastern Illinois in a match this season. And for USI, coming at a very fortunate time, as we're a little better than 10 minutes into the second half, and Eastern will throw it in a little further upfield. And for the first time, we start seeing some clouds here at Strasweg Field. Some high, thin clouds, but enough to mute the shadows just a little bit. And it'll be USI. With the goal kick, putting the pressure on, was Nicoletta Anucci. Anucci, the senior, hoping her season doesn't end today. Coming across, Balsarek trying to find somebody in the box for the Panthers, but no one there to be able to run onto it with the long run. Anucci, but just especially with the wind pushing the ball, had no chance to get there. And ready to play it, Maya ATN, graduate keeper, and the ball spinning towards midfield. where Eastern will control. It's something that we've seen with Eastern Illinois controlling that ball in the air. USI's had trouble keeping it alive through the middle in a big run by Eastern Illinois' Anucci. And it's going to be another corner for the Panthers, as the Panthers have got to find a way to pressure this USI defense. Ready to put it into play, Amanda De Silva, preseason player to watch. She'll go near post, ball in front. Chase down, kick on the way off the foot by Logan, team deflection. And then lacing into it is Sarah Hagg, and USI is able to withstand the pressure. So we're starting to see Eastern Illinois more and more put USI back on its heels.
Yeah, the Panthers really responding well, trying to just keep pushing, just keep going and not fold. Obviously, there's still a lot to be determined yet with 30-plus minutes left. So no reason to give up. You can easily get 2 goals back if you're the Panthers.
ATM floats it, and again, that wind kills it. Little will give it back to Logan. Now onto the left side. Anucci. The Eagle defense, will they keep it alive? Good job defensively by Crawford, and USI will clear, and it'll sail out, and the Panthers with the throw-in at the top of their attacking third. So you just get the feeling that ATN in net for USI is really going to have to play wise here, because the Panthers are much more aggressive right now. Coming in, they could be satisfied being defensive-minded, but now down 2-0. They cannot afford it. For USI, Hall will play it on the left side, but it goes out, and quickly USI tries to retreat as the throw-in will come in quickly. Under 30 to go. Season finale on the regular season anyway. This one decides who's the number 8 seed in the OVC. Eastern Illinois, they're used to being in the tournament. Meanwhile, USI, its first season ever in the OVC and Division I, making it to the postseason would be considered a huge success for this Screaming Eagles team. Now the offense attacks out on top. And a lot of pushing and shoving, but Corhorn keeps it alive. But the Eagles defense and Taylor Hall will boot it out, and it'll be a throw-in near the corner.
Yeah, for Eastern Illinois, they've had a history of success in the OVC with soccer. In fact, when Jake Plant took over, they were coming really in the midst of a good stretch of play, continuing toward the top. Now they kind of have caught themselves in the last couple of years, I would just say more of a reloading period, where maybe they've been a little young and they're just trying to get more experience under their belt.
Coming in, one of the players with experience, Sarah Pisano. She's out of Singapore, and she has a family that knows how to play soccer. Her brother playing for New York University on the soccer team. Pisano also was on the women's national team, player of the year in 2018. So some international experience flavored in for the team from Eastern Illinois. And the Panthers again keeping the ball on the attacking third of Eastern. And the Panthers will reset. And the loft off the left foot of Jenna Little. The number 1 as far as number of shots taken in the OVC. Jenna Little lets another go. Just not able to turn around enough to really put a lot of heat behind it. And it'll come out. Who's it going off of? It's last touch by Blue. And USI is going to bring in some fresh legs. We'll bring in, I guess we'll say 6 of them as 3 players come in. We'll see for USI, Emma Thurston and Shy Isles, 2 of the 3 returning to the lineup. Isles really saw her with a lot of hustle at the end of the first half.
Looks like that third one was Paige Vanek as well. So, yeah, kind of getting some fresh legs. Of course, all the players going out currently with these early subs in the second half can come back in before the end of the second half as well.
Clock continues to run. Under 28 minutes to go. Eastern Illinois would like to see that clock stop right now as it gets near the time to really be pushing. USI again with the throw in, this time further down. It'll be Emma Thurston to throw it in. Thurston from St. Louis, the 5'7" freshman. She'll be one of those players USI will be counting on for the next several years. And the throw in is headed out, and USI will reset at the top of the third. And the defense is there once again. Dugan trying to find somebody for USI, but the Eastern defense, great job of keeping anything from really developing for USI when it looked like Southern Indiana would have a real opportunity. So after it's all said and done, throw in for the Panthers on the far side. And it'll go right back to where it was before. Well, the pregame key for USI was play like there's no tomorrow. And USI's done that so far and not able to chase it down before it goes out. Michaela Daniel out of Edmonds, Washington. She's a Grambling State transfer. USI coached by Eric Shainstein and Eastern Illinois by Jake Plant, both coaching at the alma maters. It's always a neat thing to see, and both have had some success doing so. Both outstanding players while in the collegiate uniforms. Ready to throw it in quickly, SB Logan. She's a California product, but taken away as Paige Vanek is there now. Jenna Little. Little, if she could have seen Korhorn behind her, Korhorn would have had an unobstructed run on, but that would have been a tough look just to even find her. Now top Paxton, and the pass, which was looking for SB Logan, will roll out of bounds, untouched by an Eagle, so USI will get the throw in. USI with the goal late in the first half and then early in the second half. That's where we're at, 2-0. The first goal, with 6:21 remaining in the first half, was a feed from Elizabeth Lippert to Madison Crawford. And USI was the first on the board. And then here in the second half, just 3:39 into the second half, Jill DeTusa with a beautiful shot from the right side gives USI, where they're at right now, a 2-0 lead. And in for Eastern Illinois, number 19, Avery Richardson, out of Grand Haven, Michigan. She was honorable mention All-State in high school. You see that a lot up and down this Panther squad. And it'll go out. Does it belong to USI? No, it doesn't. It'll be Eastern Illinois. Ready to throw once again is Logan. And at midfield, USI with the header, and see who finally controls the 50-50 momentarily. It was Eastern Illinois. Now the USI defense a little disorganized, and the Eagles will clear it to midfield where the Panthers restart. A couple of kicks there that USI looked like having some trouble. Looked like Isles may be able to do something for USI, but instead here comes Korhorn. Korhorn looking to play into the middle. The defense is there. Nice job by Maggie Dugan. and USI will clear. And now at midfield, it's Byer, but Byer will give it up as the Panthers keep possession. A fun match thus far as two teams with a lot to play for. And you can see the intensity picking up even more as we head for 22 minutes remaining in the contest.
Yeah, the intensity's picking up, and now for EIU, now's about the time period where they got to start changing their lineup scheme formation to get more numbers involved in the attack, because now they got to start searching for some goals.
Long pass over the head of the Eagles defender Lippert, and Lippert able to get back and kick it out on the side before the speedy Amanda Da Silva could get to it. Wow, she had some afterburners on. Again, Eastern with the ball in the attacking third. We've seen that a decent amount here in the second half. USI early in the first half owned the pressure, but couldn't get a goal early. And then finally got one late in that first stanza.
So for USI defensively right now, got to keep an eye, probably most dangerously on the field right now, the defensive players in the blue shirts stepping up into the attack and getting involved. You don't want them to kind of sneak from behind.
Whoa, dangerous play as Maya ATN not able to control the ball. And a beautiful team clear. Here comes one in front. ATN knocks it down, still loose. Scrum in the middle, who's going to do something with it. And ATN, the ball's kicked out of her hand, but a whistle first.
Yes.
And it'll stay with USI.
Yes, that is the correct call. The whistle, the foul did take place before the ball snuck through and obviously into the back of the net. And I couldn't tell if the foul was just based on regular play or they were saying that ATN had it and then the foul was displacing the control that she had.
Wow.
Once the referee gave the signal that it was in the keeper's hands.
A lot of players in a condensed area. So the ball comes in. ATN gets some help, and then it's in that goalie box is where the whistle comes in. Eastern thought they had something going. It looked good for them for a moment. But the Panthers will again put pressure on USI. The ball off to the right side, and the one hopper off the foot of Balsarak is gathered in by ATN.
Another player for EIU, Balsarak, who's been playing with some good confidence lately. With the tally on her score line this season.
Ball played beautifully. Korhorn over to Balsarak. Two of the keys for this Panther team, making USI work defensively.
And ATN taking no chances, covering that up for an extreme period of time.
USI, do they have a break on the right side? Vanek chasing it down. She'll launch across the middle, and it'll get headed out by the Panthers. But USI keeping the pressure on, and it's going to sail up. From this angle, looked like it was going to go out of play, but now it does, and it'll belong to EIU. Nope. Make it the other way. It'll belong to USI. And some changes again for USI, as Southern Indiana will bring, among others, Adriana Baruti back in. Two 2-0 Southern Indiana. You can see in the white shirt kneeling down, that was USI head coach Eric Shainstein trying to get the offense set, but nothing able to happen for the Screaming Eagles. You look at the numbers in this contest. Southern Indiana owned the first half. So far, the Panthers only 2 shots, 1 on goal. Southern Indiana 7 shots, 4 on goal, and 2 counted for points.
For Southern Indiana, now going against the wind, though, the opportunities have come a little bit far and few in between compared to the first half.
Anucci with the cross, but the Eagle defense is there. And who's going to claim it at midcourt? Big collision, and it'll belong to Ella Onstadt. And the Panthers will reset from the midline. And this is what we saw Eastern Illinois do a little bit more in the first half. Pretty patient offensively. So they've gone back to that here, even though they're down 2-0. Spinning with it is Anucci. Nucci with some speed, looking for the cross, and back defensively for USI is Megan Kinney, a senior out of Omaha, Nebraska. Kinney, haven't seen her a whole lot. Great to see her getting some action here. Long one played into the box, knocked away, but here comes the team save, and can USI clear for the second time? USI clears. Tremendous team defense. Last one, Maggie Dugan got rid of. That looked like it was going to be a sure thing for Eastern Illinois, but the defense collapsed for USI, and now the Eagles will try to get something in transition.
Daly and Dugan with 2 big plays here midway through the second half.
Vanek with it. Vanek one-on-one, and a tap too long as taking it away is Morgan Goodman.
As Daly had the initial clearance on that last possession after the speed got around Crawford, she was there, cut off the angle, and then cleared it out. She also had that first block right there on the goal line, and then Dugan getting another clearance off the goal line on the second attempt.
Wow, tremendous opportunity. Now here comes Dugan for USI, but a tremendous opportunity for Eastern Illinois. They were putting all kinds of pressure on Southern Indiana. That took a full team effort as Eagles keeper ATN was boxed out of some of that action. And losing it for USI, Elizabeth Lippert then played into the box. Out comes the keeper, rolls through, hits off the goal. And I think we're going to have a foul before that happened. Nope, it's not a foul, but it is a save by Bermeo as USI just misses a shot on their own. Off the left side, the header loose, misplayed momentarily by Bermeo. Then quickly the ball gets to the other end and played past the inline defensively for Southern Indiana.
And even though it's a corner kick, not a bad clearance, just considering the pressure was on by the Panthers. It really just a tough angle to try to wrap around and at least clear it out toward the sideline. So at least just to kind of give the chance for USI to get back numbers defensively and reset, reorganize, although it is a set-piece opportunity for EIU.
The clock continues to run as we are now at 15 minutes to go. And it'll be Ava Hensley. Nope, make that Amanda De Silva ready to play the corner. Far post, headed around, and cleared momentarily for USI. And the defense, though, with a takeaway, and Southern Indiana trying to get a run off the right side for Vanek, but the defense fell back quickly for Eastern Illinois. Great job of stopping anything in transition. Here come the Panthers once again, and it's touched too long. Boy, running hard onto it was Sarah Pisano. And USI is going to bring in about half a new team. If I counted correctly, I believe they did bring in 5 new players. As many of them return to the field. So USI with some rested legs for the moment. 14 minutes to go. Southern Indiana 2-0, looking for its first ever OVC victory. And if they can get it, a foul on Eastern Illinois, the push from behind by Anucci. But if USI can get it, it will open the door, first time ever, for them to get into the OVC postseason tournament that begins on Friday. And several matches today. Total of 4 matches in the OVC. And all of them having an impact on who will play where seeded. This one deciding who's the last team to get in. And it's touched last by Southern Indiana. And quickly, the Panthers throw it in, knowing that time is running out for them. USI, they'll be happy letting the Panthers play it in the mid-third. And I believe we'll get a handball. That one off of Peyton Murphy as that was sent her way. Had no chance to get out of there. So the Panthers will set it up. They have got to find a way to score 2 here in the last 12 and a half minutes. They've got the wind to their back. Ready to play it is Sarah Hag out of Germany. Will play it to the line, and USI's defense is there, but it'll go past the end line, and it should be another corner. It is a corner for Eastern Illinois, and they've now taken the lead in corners. USI had 3 corners in the first half. Now the Panthers with 4 for the match. And taking the time to set it up, De Silva. Once again in front of the Eagles' net. A lot of players in there. Ball loose. Etienne was diving for it, but it's cleared out. I believe cleared by Elizabeth Boley. And the Eagle team defense back in the box does the job again. On the other side, Eastern Illinois not able to find a loose ball to get a solid kick. And a foul on USI. That's going to let Eastern set one up in a very dangerous place. ATN, USI's goalie, she's been kept busy here in this second half. Even though she doesn't have a lot of goals to show for it, it's been a lot of pressure that's been put on her. Ready to play it is Sarah Hag, second team all OVC from last year. Long kick on the way in front, and it'll shift to the left in a foul, either a foul or an offside. It is a foul on the Panthers. So the Eagles' ATN looking to finish her career with a shutout here at USI. She has 1 save to her credit today, 2 shots faced, but 1 she didn't have to make the play on. But there have been many other times where there's been all sorts of pressure on her, as there is here. Corhorn, she was trying to get around the Eagle defense, but USI collapses. But back to the top, and USI will clear, at least momentarily. Under 10 minutes to go. Out on top, it's Anucci with it. Anucci tries to set it back, and it ricochets off an Eagle, and when it's all said and done, it'll be a goal kick, USI. USI would be fine with about 14 more of these to let the time run. USI brings 2 more in. Lippert returns for USI. She had an assist back in the first half. That was the first goal with 6:21 remaining in the first half. During those changes, the clock continues to run. 9 minutes remaining. USI feeling pretty good, but boy, the Panthers are putting pressure on USI. Out on top, Logan with it. Logan wanting to spin move. Eagles collapse defensively. The long kick off the foot of Avery Richardson. And you could tell by her reaction, she didn't like how she let it go as the ball was spinning on her.
Not only that, but leaning back is what caused the ball to go airborne, as she really couldn't quite get either around the equator of the ball or above to keep it down and toward goal.
Now USI see if they can move the ball into the attacking half. This second half, especially recently, it's belonged to Eastern Illinois. The pressure put on USI But so far, the Panthers haven't been able to make anything count.
Yeah, the Panthers are fighting. They're giving everything they have. They just have come within inches a couple times near the goal line.
Hall on the far side, number 4 for USI, trying to get it away from Sarah Hag. The Hag was the last to touch it. Yeah, 2 different times the ball was right in front of the USI net. Bunch of players around. Nobody could get a kickoff, and Southern Indiana was finally able to clear. It easily could be 2-2 right now. But for some USI team defense and Eastern Illinois, if they can't get some goals here, they're going to look at some of those lost opportunities. And will we have a foul? Yes, we do. And USI will get to set it up in the attacking third, or at least near the top of it, as we're heading for 7 minutes to go. 7 minutes plus for Eastern Illinois to extend its season. USI 7 minutes plus to get to the OVC tournament in its first season. And out comes the outstanding goalkeeper, Danielle Barmio. Makes it play off the foul. And quickly, the Panthers try to get something in transition, but USI will keep it alive. On the right side, Diltusa. Nice ball handling along the sideline. Diltusa wanted to go into the middle. Back over to Dugan. Dugan, the long kick, and straight into the breadbasket of Daniela Barmeo.
Yeah, Diltusa was trying to direct traffic as she was calling for Murphy to make the run to her right. Made this a little give-and-go combination play, but the interception for the Panthers. But the Eagles, again, just continuing to push forward and take precious time off the clock from the Panthers.
Byer has it kicked away from behind, as behind her was Sarah Hag. And Hag going, we just got to get this ball back in play. 6 minutes to go, 2-0, Southern Indiana. And a whistle and the foul on USI. So Eastern Illinois will put it in play from deep their defensive territory. The Panthers trying to get around an Eagle defense that is collapsing back quickly. USI doesn't have to press the offense at all. They can let it play through, and it'll go into the box, and the Eagles, ATN, will corral it there, and we're going to see some more seconds tick off. It's senior day at the University of Southern Indiana. 9 different players recognized before the game, playing their last year for USI. Eagles have some top-heavy seniors, but then 11 freshmen. So balance to keep the program moving forward in Division I. Under 5 minutes, and out in the middle, Grafton wanted a foul, and the official says no. Back defensively for USI, Alyssa Wright. And quickly, the throw in. Do we have an injury, or it'll be throw in USI? Eastern Illinois was trying to throw it in, but nope, goes the other way. Southern Indiana. Let's see if we're going to have somebody come in for USI. Nope, waiting on the sidelines, Paige Vanek. Nope, it was not a throw in. It indeed was a foul. And nothing happening off of the foul kick as it goes back out of bounds, and USI will throw it in further, and USI feeling more comfortable as Paige Vanek comes in for Taylor Hall. And the Panthers are going to have to put some serious pressure, give everything they've got, and that's when we'll go back to Eastern Illinois. It's going to be a throw-in instead of a foul. USI putting pressure on defensively, and that one touched last by Balsarac. And USI will get the throw-in. Or the time is running out for the Panthers. USI can't see this clock run fast enough. The Eagle defense has been spectacular with some team saves. As the ball's been in front of the USI net this second half quite a few times. USI comfortable just playing it in the air at midfield. And now the Panthers near side, big collision, and USI will kick it out near side. Running on was SB Logan in the blue. Under 3 to go. Peyton Murphy with it for USI. Up to midfield to Vanek. Vanek will spin around to Byer. Byer will wait for the team to catch up. And USI can burn some seconds. Drop it back over to Jill DeTusa. DeTusa back to Byer. Byer will take her time running to it in the corner. DeTusa trying to defend the ball. And as it stays in the corner, finally touched out. And it'll be USI throw-in. DeTusa, she was counting the seconds, letting it run as we hit 2 minutes remaining. And USI looking like the likely number 8 seed in the OVC tournament. And this time it'll be Eastern Illinois throw-in. First matchup between these two teams ever. And it looks like it'll belong to the Screaming Eagles unless the Panthers have a miracle here in the last 90 seconds. USI throw in. Jill DeTusa. Eagles content has a lot of pushing and shoving. And there'll be a foul, and it'll belong to Eastern Illinois. And we'll have a timeout. What do we have? We're going to have a yellow card.
Beyond DeTusa.
I think there might have been a little complaining is my guess, because that was well after what happened. Either way, USI, they're fine with it right now, waiting for the ball to be put back into play. 1:14 remaining. USI, if they can keep anything negative from happening, they will prepare to take on the number 1 or the number 5 seed in the OVC tournament in the first round. Left side, that's Pisano. Pisano was looking for Corhorn coming across the middle, but just behind her, and USI will clear it to midfield. We're under a minute to go. USI 2-0. Knocked out, and it'll be throw-in Eastern Illinois. Played back onto the right side. That's Anucci with it. Anucci drops it back. Can anybody run on? USI's defense puts pressure on. Long kick on the way, looking for the runner, and it'll go past the end line. And that is going to pretty much put an end to it. Running on was Pisano. 19 seconds to go in the contest. The USI faithful starting to applaud what appears to be their first OVC victory in 20 seconds. And the senior grad goalkeeper, make it just a senior, not the grad, ATN, able to put it in play for USI. 10 seconds remaining. Cleared, and that's going to do it. And we know who the number 8 seed is in the Ohio Valley Conference Tournament. That'll be the University of Southern Indiana with their first ever OVC victory. At the end of the match, USI wins by the final score of 2-0.